Welcome to the powernomics celebration for Dr. Claud Anderson. Since COVID-19 prevents us from gathering together for a formal event, Dr. Anderson family put together this virtual program as a surprise to him. They wanted to present him flowers now, to hear from his colleagues, peers, friends, and supporters how much his work is valued and respected. In addition to this DVD, the family is making a book of emails and letters from supporters to present to him. So the purpose of this event is to say thank you. Some will also wish him happy birthday, but however the occasion is framed, we all want to let him know we appreciate and celebrate his life and his work. Next, we will hear from well-known people who have reached out to Dr. Anderson, studied his work, and have become strong supporters. Charlamagne, Tiffany Haddish, Dr. Boyce Watkins, and Carl Nelson. Here they go.
Peace to the planet, Charlamagne the God here, man. I gotta salute the beautiful brother, the great brother, Dr. Claud Anderson. Dr. Claud, I appreciate you so much, man. You one of the elders that I feel like every black person in America should listen to. The book Powernomics, it absolutely positively changed my life, and there's nothing I want to see more than Powernomics implemented, in the black community the way that I know you've always dreamed of it being. I want to see Powernomics in schools. I want to see all your work in schools, man. That's why I'm just happy to know you as a person, but also to be your business partner, just to continue to amplify all the great work that you've been doing out here for us, man. And by us, I mean black people. Even when these niggas don't appreciate it, trust me, a brother like me does, man. So thank you, Dr. Claude. Salute to the beautiful Queen Joanne. And I just appreciate the Andersons, man. Thank you very much. Happy born day. I'm glad God still has you here. And I wish you many, 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 many more. I'm happy that you exist. I just want to continue to soak up all the knowledge, the wisdom, and the understanding of this society that you have. Thank you, Dr. Claude. Appreciate you. Happy born day. Peace.
Hey everybody, Tiffany Haddish here, and I'm super excited to share a little something about Dr. Claud Anderson. First of all, I remember how I first encountered him, and that was watching The Breakfast Club and watching my guy Charlamagne the God talk to him about the conditions of the world today and his book, Powernomics. So I go and I orders the book, right? Bam, I'm reading the book. I order all of his books, not just Powernomics, but Black Labor, White Wealth. I also ordered the Dirty Little Secrets of Black History, the Heroes and the Troublemakers. And as I'm reading these books, my mind is like, boom, 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 boom. I'm getting blowed in the head because I'm just like, this makes so much sense. And all I could think is, how can I make a difference? And I just want to say thank you to Dr. Claud Anderson for taking the time out to do the research and gather the knowledge. And, I'm a skeptic to a certain extent. So I went and fact checked a lot of those things, and it was correct. He was correct. And so I have taken it upon myself to make sure that the world knows about Dr. Claud Anderson's work. So I have been actively creating a TV show. And actively been talking with school boards about getting his history books into those school systems. And we'll see what happens. But what I do know is I'm so glad and so grateful, Dr. Claud Anderson, that you are here on this planet. I hope you're here for 100 more years and share all the knowledge that you have. I remember coming to your house and having a conversation with you and just laughing. Not outside so much, but more so inside, because it's just funny to me how people say there's nobody here telling us what's what. There's no information. And here you are. You were right there in my face, sitting right there in front of me, giving me all the information and all the knowledge. And I'm just super grateful and thankful. I look forward to sharing everything that I've learned from you with others. And I can't wait to see what happens next. Love and peace. And thank you for most of all, Powernomics. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Hey, Dr. Anderson. I have to think about exactly what I want to say. And first, I want to say happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Let me just say that it is an honor to be able to speak to you. Every time I talk to you, it is very special to me. You are, in case you did not know, you have become my father. You are a father to me, and I love you like I love my dad. And I will tell you that you haven't just changed my life, but you changed the lives of millions of people. And speaking with you is wonderful because you represent manhood to me. You represent a very solid form of manhood that incorporates integrity. You have a lot of honor and dignity in the way you carry yourself. From the very first moment I met you, you don't even remember, but you were the one that actually told me it was okay to be a radical scholar. You told me that back in 2006 in Louisville, Kentucky, when I first met you. And I never forgot that. And that actually changed a lot of my thinking. And let me just tell you this. I know you haven't just affected me. You've affected millions of people. And you are the kind of soldier that I am honored to go into battle with. You are a person that I'm extremely proud of and proud to be around. You also, to me and to many millions of other people, you are Black history. You have made an impact on this world that will live for hundreds of years after we're gone. And it is an honor to be a part of that, to not just talk about Black history. You have taught everyone so much about Black history. But what I hope that they understand is that you are making Black history. You are the Marcus Garvey of our time. You are that person that where there's nobody else out there like you. And I'll tell you what, buddy, it has been so much fun. And I hope we get to do this another 100 years. This is the thrill of my life. This is the most important work I have ever done in my life. And it's all because of you. Without you giving your support and your blessing to things, I could not do any of this. And I just appreciate you. I just appreciate you so much. And of course, you know that if there's anything I can ever do, you know that that's as good as done. And I'm not going to talk too long, but I will say that I'm also honored that Mrs. Anderson asked me to address you, because when I speak to you, I'm speaking to a relative. I'm speaking to a man that has become a part of my soul, beyond family. I feel that you are one of the saviors of our community. And I'm really glad that you wrote Powernomics and Black Labor, White Wealth, because every time I read those books, I say, man, I'm glad he wrote it and I didn't have to, because I know that took a lot of work. And I'll tell you, from this point on, I vow to always carry the flag for everything that you represent. Beyond Powernomics, you represent so much more than that, even beyond the massive legacy of Powernomics and the books you've written. You also represent strength, honor, integrity, dignity, masculinity. You represent Blackness in the most appropriate and honorable form. And I can just tell you, man, it is, I'm almost brought to tears when I think about how thrilled I am to be by your side as you make Black history. So I love you very, very much. I would do anything for you. I would give my life to defend you and to support you. And then there's nothing that you or anybody in your family could ever ask me to do that I will not go out and get done. So God bless you and happy birthday, my friend. I look forward to doing this for many, many more years. So take care of yourself, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Hi, Carl Nelson here from Radio 1 in Washington, D.C. First, I'd like to thank Dr. Claud Anderson for being in our lives. First met Dr. Anderson, I'd say back into the 90s, early 90s. Station manager offered me a book, and she was, said, you've got to read this book. You've got to read this book. It answers all the questions that you've been asking of why Black folks are at the bottom of any metric that you can imagine. Any metric, we're at the bottom. Why? This book answers it. First, I thought she was going to give me another Bible, because she had given me a Bible a week before. She says, this book's got all the answers to anything that you want. But it turned out the book she gave me was this one, Black Labor, White Wealth. done by Dr. Claud Anderson. She says, you've got to get him on the radio. You've got to get him on the radio. All those people who are asking questions and you're asking the same question, the answers are all in this book. And that's how our relationship started. And this was about, I want to say 95, 96 maybe, or maybe 94, somewhere around there, because the book is signed by Dr. Anderson. It's one of my cherished copies, by the way. And we started that relationship back then and at KJLH in Los Angeles. And Dr. Anderson became one of our most requested guests between Dr. Anderson and Dick Gregory. So we started off talking about the reasons why the black community is in the shape that it is, not just the United States, but across the whole entire world. Then he came back with another book, Powernomics. Powernomics is the roadmap to tell us how to get out of the situation that we got into. Back in LA, when we did the show, we used to have play a record for all of the guests. At the end of the show, for example, Maxine Waters would play She's a Bad Mamma Jamma. For Armstrong Williams would play I'm Your Puppet. For Dr. Claud Anderson, it was Show Me the Way by the Jacksons. And Dr. Anderson has been showing us the way ever since. That's why we call him our leader. He's the only one who's got a plan for Black America. And Joanne, we want to thank you and the kids for just sharing Dr. Anderson with us all these years. We hope you'll be around many more years because we've still got a lot of work to do. Thank you, Doc.
The next three videos are from people very special to Dr. Anderson, the Harvest Institute, and Powernomics. The late Dr. Frederick Price, founder of the Crenshaw Christian Center in Los Angeles, was one of the strongest supporters of Dr. Anderson and his work. When he read Black Labor, White Wealth, Dr. Fred and Betty Price and his entire family embraced and supported Dr. Anderson. Without their support, the Harvest Institute would not exist. Now, we will hear from Pastor Frederick Price Jr., Dr. Betty and Cheryl Price, and Angela and Michael Evans.
Dr. Claud Anderson, this is Frederick Price Jr., and I believe when I met you, I was just a young teenage boy. And that was the result of my father having been exposed to your works, I believe Dirty Little Secrets, as well as Black Labor, White Wealth. I'm not sure which one he read first, but I'm glad he read them both, and I'm glad he reached out to you, and I'm glad a relationship was forged. What can I say? I believe you are the foremost voice on all things Black for Blacks in America. I recently saw you on the Breakfast Club, and they've had other individuals, other pro-Black individuals on their show, but I felt it was criminal and an injustice that they hadn't had you on yet. And so I was glad when they finally did, because we, in this hour especially, in this day that we live in, we need to hear from you. We need your wisdom and the wealth of knowledge that you have. So I just want to say that I appreciate you. My family appreciates you. I'm so glad, like I said, that you and Dad were able to forge a relationship. And I want to say happy birthday to you. 86 years young. I believe you still have quite a bit of work to still do. And you've got quite a wealth and load of knowledge, understanding, and wisdom to download into individuals like myself, my generation, and the generations to follow. So once again, from my family to you, we appreciate you. We love you. Happy birthday. Hope to see you soon.
Happy birthday, Dr. Claud. What a blessing you've been in the lives of so many people. God has used your gifting to help, especially us Black people. So I am so proud of you and what you have meant to society. And I pray for you and Joanne every day. So I know that as a result of this, you're going to have a very blessed birthday. And we thank you that we were able to meet you and be a part of our lives. Anyway, I love you.
Yes, and I love you too, my friend, my buddy. We used to hang out in the good old LA area and miss those days. But I'm so happy to be able to celebrate you along with everyone else. You're such an amazing person. We're all better for having known you in this lifetime. I remember when my dad first introduced us to you, when he was telling us he wanted to invite you, he said, "This guy is no joke. He does not play around. He's the real deal." And he was absolutely right. And we've enjoyed all our fellowship time and the times that we've been together here in LA doing work or just visiting with you and Joanne. So we just wanted to be a part of this to tell you that we love you. Happy birthday. And many, many more to you. What else you want to say, Mom?
And continue to be blessed as you have been a blessing.
Yes, sir. We love you.
Happy birthday, Claude. 86 years. Wow, what a blessing. It's been about 25 years or more. I'm sure it's been more since I first met you when my father, Frederick Price, was researching his message, Race, Religion, and Racism. He read some of your works, and that's how our family got to know you and Joanne, and you guys are just amazing. We've enjoyed the relationship through the years. One of the things I remember that's most fond memory is when Claude would come to LA on a visit, and he would want to go and visit a seafood restaurant. Where are we going to go to eat seafood? So Michael would, give him his Los Angeles seafood restaurant tour, and that was always something fun and enjoyable that we would look forward to. We love the message that you taught, teaching Blacks, African Americans how to behave better and just how to navigate through this crazy life and that we're living. And so I feel that your work should be commemorated in some way into perpetuity. Of course, you have your books and those will last forever, but you're an amazing man. We're so honored to know you and we love you. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Dr. Claude. What can I say to add to what she said? But I remember something that Dr. Price used to always say after Betty spoke, and that was ditto. So ditto to what Angie said about you, and I feel the exact same way. You've meant a lot to us. You've meant a lot to the ministry. We still implore some of the tenets of what you've taught us in the past, that we need to do more on occasion to get some of our Black brothers and sisters up to par and held accountable for doing the right thing, so we don't go to others to provide goods and services for us. We just had a situation this week where we had a contractor a Black contractor, we went out of our way to make sure we got a Black contractor, and some of the work we wanted to question, and that we did. We questioned some of the work that was done and allowed him to bring his work up to par rather than us just going out and getting somebody else. We want to work with the brother to make sure that everything is right. And that's something that we learned from you. And we employ that in our everyday lives. One of the highlights of my relationship with you was the time that you took Angela and I on a tour of your seafood facility where you farm-raised tilapia. And that was a fascinating dream come true for you, and it was fascinating for me to see that you actually put into fruition, into play, what you spoke of that we need to do to be entrepreneurs and have businesses of our own. So that was a very memorable occasion, and one of the things I'll always remember you for. So anyway, happy birthday. Wish you 86 more in Jesus' name. Take care. Bless you.
We love you.
The next two videos are from people who play significant roles in the Harvest Institute, the educational advocacy organization founded by Dr. Claude Anderson in 1994, Pastor Earl Trent, and attorney Percy Squire.
Hello, I'm Dr. Earl Trent, the pastor of the Florida Avenue Baptist Church and also chair of the board of the Harvest Institute. It is my pleasure to make this video for my only friend, Claude Anderson. Let me tell you how I came to meet him. I moved to Washington, D.C. to pastor Florida Avenue Church at the end of '94, and one of the members, Gary Smith, had met Claude, and he knew that I was a voracious reader, and so he gave me a copy of Black Labor, White Wealth. Well, after reading this, he asked me how I liked it. I told him I thoroughly enjoyed it, and it was right up my alley, and he wanted to know whether I wanted to meet him. So I met Claude, and we became fast friends, and which is a story in and of itself. Having read and been to some of his lectures and worked with him, I tried to get Claude on a program for the Progressive National Baptist Convention. Well, if you know Claude, and especially in those early days, he was viewed as kind of a radical. And after much cajoling, I believe we were in Memphis at the time. We finally got him on the program before the convention, but it was at midnight, and so there weren't many people around, and he was teasing me that I didn't have any friends, and from then on, when he would call me, he would always introduce himself as I'm your only friend. And at that point in time, maybe he was. We had a good time. And I don't know if it was there, but another encounter that we have is how my wife, Janice, lost her first name. Claude and Joanne and I and my wife, Janice, we went out to dinner. It might have even been at the convention, and ordered our food, and then we ordered something to drink, and we all ordered iced tea. Now, I knew my wife liked, a little bit of tea with her sugar, and Claude ordered the same, but Joanne and I ordered regular iced tea. I tasted hers, and it was just so full of sugar, but he loved it, and so he began to call her sweet tea, because I couldn't understand how she could drink it. So that became she lost her name that evening. She was always known then as Sweet Tea. I tell you, this has been a very, very rewarding and rich relationship. The Harvest Institute needed a place to set up headquarters, and so we set it up in the church. And when they had a radio station, they would broadcast from there. They needed a chairman. I became chairman of the board. How has this impact our lives? We have changed. I can say we have changed. A lot of lives have been changed for the better in sharing some of the principles of powernomics, and from young people right on to young people not so young anymore, but they all got a seed there. Claude would sometimes call me up, and he would always ask me, why can't my people, they became my people, why can't they can't even do wrong right when they would mess up. But he has been a dedicated servant, dedicated advocate for Black people, and the church itself, the members appreciate him, and I deeply appreciate him. So happy birthday, Claude, for 86 years. Your work still continues. God bless you.
Good afternoon. My name is Percy Squire. I'm an attorney in Columbus, Ohio, and I am going to take a few minutes to speak about my dear friend, Dr. Claude Anderson. I've known Dr. Anderson for close to 30 years. Since then, I've come to work with Dr. Anderson on a number of different projects involving the Harvest Institute. Dr. Anderson is unique in his approach to dealing with issues affecting Black Americans. He's a patriot, a former Marine, and a person who has a understanding of what it takes in order for Blacks to fit into the economy in a way that is commensurate with our sacrifices that have been made in this country and the potential within our group. Dr. Anderson is innovative. He is very creative, but most of all, he has done research and has a foundation for his views. I can't say enough about Dr. Anderson in this limited period of time that's been allotted to me, but I would encourage everyone to read his books and to study his ideas and strategy for elevating Blacks into our appropriate state in the American political and economic system. I have nothing but the utmost admiration and respect for Dr. Anderson. I wish him well, he and his lovely wife Joanne and their family. And I am hopeful that this short communication will convey to you the strength of my feelings toward Dr. Anderson and my admiration for him. Thank you.
Now, about to hear from Richard Finley and Pastor Dr. Kenneth T. Whalen Jr. These men have developed significant economic projects based on powernomic principles, such as aggregating group resources, vertical integration, and the doctrine of Black exceptionality. Here they are.
Oh, hi, this is Richard Minnie Finley, sending out our appreciation to Dr. Claud Anderson. Met Dr. Anderson almost 10 years ago. I gave him a PowerPoint on an idea that he read and saw the feasibility. And I want to thank him for believing in the project and believing in me and the team and for his support all these years. So, Doc, we're going to do powernomics. We're going to vertically integrate, and we're going to racially aggregate, and we're going to make powernomics a living phenomenon for Blacks here in America. Thank you and much appreciation.
Thank you so much.
Claude is your best friend, and I know everybody who's done this says they're your best friend, but I'm really your best friend. I'm your long lost son. I know this is news for everybody who's listening. I'm your Memphis native. Memphis born, Memphis bred, and when I die, I'll be Memphis dead. And I want you to know that Memphis owes you a great debt because of what you've done for me personally, for us as a church at the New Olivet Worship Center. I met you through your book, Powernomics, and that book changed my life literally, Claude. I was searching for a way as a pastor to change my community, to do what the book of Isaiah says we should do, and that is to repair the breach, to restore the walls, to rebuild our community. And God sent your book, man. Powernomics principles are fabulous, man. They are on point. So I used those principles to create our ministry called Bust a Move Monday. Bust a Move Monday, where on the first Monday in every month, we take our church members to patronize a Black-owned business. We're unashamedly Black. We support Black. And we have since 2000, since the year 2000, we've been doing it first Monday every month, every year for 20 years, 21 years. And I feel your frustration and pain sometimes, man, over the lack of Black people supporting this kind of effort. Over all these years here in Memphis, not one Black church has stepped up to join us in this effort. It's frustrating, I know, man, but be encouraged. And at 86 years old, you're still young enough to make a difference. Remember, Caleb was 85 years old when he told God, "Give me this mountain." I just love you, Claude. I feel like I'm rambling now, but I love you, man. I appreciate you. We share something in common, that is a powerful, brilliant, beautiful wife. And Sheila gives her love to you and Joanne. I'm supposed to tell a funny anecdote. Let's see. You were preaching at our church in Memphis some years ago, and one of our elderly members got so excited about what you were saying that she came down the aisle, walked up into the pulpit, and tapped you on your forehead. I don't know if you remember that, but that's a funny, funny anecdote. I love you, Claude, and I want you to be encouraged. And when there's nobody to encourage you, encourage yourself. Oh, let me tell you one more story. I called you because you always counsel me on politics. You know, I've been on the school board. I've run for mayor. And you told me one time after I called you in tears, and you made me buck up. You said, listen, man, you can do it. You can do whatever it is you're trying to do. You'll make a difference regardless. You said it doesn't matter whether or not you lost. You said you keep doing what you're doing, Kenneth. And that has motivated me even today, man. Again, I love you, man. And I wish you many, many more birthdays. Peace.
Next, we will hear from Detroiters who made a difference in Dr. Anderson's life over the years. Dr. Ken Harris, Reverend Dr. Joanne Watson, and Mr. Elliott Hall. Here they are.
Hi, this is Dr. Ken Harris of the National Business League. Dr. Claud Anderson, what an honor to celebrate and appreciate you for this lifelong work of helping to save and protect and empower Black business. Not only do I consider you the absolute authority on Black business empowerment, but I also consider you a friend, a mentor, a role model for young Black entrepreneurs for generations to come. I tell you, Dr. Anderson, you so gangster with this Black economic empowerment thing. I mean, a weapon against white supremacy. I would have thought you would have had the Detroit Mafia behind you and backing you. Just kidding. But you are one bad Black man, Dr. Claud Anderson, and it's an absolute pleasure to have been invited into your circle of influencers, as you have empowered so many millions of Black entrepreneurs in entrepreneurial spirit all around the world. I'm honored. This day is a special day, not just for you and your family, but for me as well and the millions of Black businesses around the world. I want to wish you continued success on your lifelong journey, Dr. Anderson. Just know that the legacy you have already left will be felt for the ages. But most importantly, Dr. Anderson, we cannot start by saying you married an unbelievable Black woman. I'm thinking your better half from Detroit, Dr. Joanne, but together you are two insertions of words beyond belief. So on behalf of the National Business League, its 120-year-old legacy founded by Booker T. Washington, we appreciate you. We honor you. We love you, Dr. Anderson and Joanne and your entire family. We ain't done yet, Doc. Happy 86, my leader, and happy 86.
Hello, my name is Joanne Watson. I'm proud to pay tribute to my only friend, Dr. Claud Anderson. Dr. Claud Anderson is a distinguished scholar. He's an author. He's an astute businessman. He's an activist. He's an organizer. And he's been an economic prophet for our people with publications like Black Labor and White Wealth, Powernomics, Dirty Little Secret, and his pioneering genius with the Harvard Institute organization. He has sponsored historic litigation to demand long overdue reparations for Black people in America. And he led a groundbreaking effort to launch Maroon Town in Detroit, conducting a landmark study for the city of Detroit. Dr. Claud Anderson is in a class by himself. He's a fighter. He's a fearless advocate for our people across this nation. It's a wonderful opportunity to pay tribute to Dr. Claud Anderson. He is absolutely in a class by himself. I love him and his wonderful wife, Joanne, and I wish him all the best in the future because he deserves the best. Dr. Claud Anderson, my only friend. God bless Dr. Claud Anderson.
My friend, Dr. Claud Anderson, and I go back 60 years. I met him at the bus stop on the campus of Wayne State University, where both of us were commuting back and forth from our homes to the university on a daily basis. We started a fast friendship at that time, and We saw one another on many occasions on campus. Claude was pursuing his degree in education, and I decided to go to law school. I am very proud that my friend accomplished his PhD in education and was able to formulate a path that would be very beneficial to the African Americans of this country. The most important feature that I held in Claude's life was the fact that I got him to marry one Joanne Anderson. But all joking aside, we have been dear friends for a long time. I have great respect for how he has settled into his message to African Americans and to America as a whole in terms of the place African Americans should play in life in this great country. I wish him all the best as he puts, as I call it, we both are enjoying our evening years, and he has had a fruitful evening with all of his thoughts, his suggestions, and his advice to this country. Love you, Claude. Love you, Joanne. You guys be good. Take care of yourself.
Now, let me introduce you to a few of Dr. Anderson's other family members. Dr. Noella Clark, Dr. Ingrid Draper, Mr. Michael Bates. His family are having their say.
I am Noelle Clark. Claude, it's an absolute honor to be able to say happy birthday to you today on behalf of our family. We have loved, respected, and adored you for the 57 years that you've been married to Joe. It has been an absolute inspiration to watch the two of you love, grow, prosper, and share. And as you do those things, the love you exude multiplies, and you can see it in your wonderful, wonderful children and in your fabulous works. And I'd like to share with you just a couple of the profound lessons that I have had the benefit of learning from you, Claude, and not just from your books, not just from your talks, but from the way that you've lived your life. And the way you've lived your life has been totally selfless. It's been inspirational. You've worked your tail off. You've been extremely productive, and you've made a difference. You've made your life count. Of course, a lot of it starts with who you choose as a partner in the first place. And you and Joe certainly chose each other because you were so compatible and you nourished each other. And the love shows in every way, and you grew and grew and grew. And it's been a magnificent journey. Black families are in crisis. And to see a family like yours is rare. It's very, very rare and very valued, and a story that needs to be told. Claude, you've helped us understand the importance of our history, the ravages of racism, the atrocities of racism, and how that has been deliberate to denigrate and demean Black people. But despite that, how important it is for us to be able to define ourselves and not allow us to be defined by our adversaries. That takes a lot of work, it takes a lot of courage, but it's important. It's important that we identify our dreams, that we understand our potential, and that we embrace our goals and embrace ourselves with pride and confidence. The importance of being honest, of having integrity, of being bold, making bold decisions, making courageous decisions, of identifying a problem and being focused on the resolution, being focused on solving the problem rather than being mired in the problem, and to see those problems as opportunities to make money, opportunities to grow, and to always be kind and loving. And if you are, how much that helps you grow as a person, but how much it helps our communities and helps others. And the importance of being resilient. You're not successful at everything you do the first time, but you don't stop at that. You reassess it, you analyze it, you figure out a different way, and you go a different way, but you don't stop working. You keep on working, you persevere, you have tenacity, and you've taught us to make money and the importance of keeping the money we make, keeping it in our families, keeping it in our communities, and enjoying it. Claude, we've learned so much from you. We love you. You are a one-of-a-kind treasure. You have lived selflessly to improve the lives of Black people, and we adore you for that. Our world is better off because you are in it. Love you, Claude. Is that right? Love you, and can't wait to be able to see you.
Hi, Claude. This is Ingrid from Detroit. I'm just so glad to be able to be on, Claude, to tell you happy birthday. Such a wonderful contribution that you have made all of your life, through your family, through your work, through the many industries that you and Joe have started together. I'm just very happy for you, and I can reflect way back to when we first met, how impressed we were with you, how handsome we thought you were. But Noelle and I often talk now about the most handsome time in your life is right now. And the years of that you have matured, the gray hair on the temples, just very handsome and very striking. I can remember also sitting around in Florida, sitting around the breakfast table, and how you used to talk about the situation in the world, but particularly the situation of Black people, and what we had to do to improve our lives for all of our families and the future. And the interesting thing is that your message has never changed. What has happened is that the world now is ready for your message. You started out with a small group of apostles, and now your message is resonating around the world. People are recognizing that you have some answers that nobody else has had. And the kinds of opportunities that you're getting in terms of getting that word out even broader, that is really just the blessings that you have accrued for your long, long history of working for African American people. You and Joe have one of the best marriages that I have ever seen. The way that you two work together, the way that you obviously love each other, the family that you have, two beautiful children, the beautiful grands. Your legacy is your legacy of your work and your family. And just know that we love you and we're congratulating you on a wonderful, long, productive life. Happy birthday.
I don't know anyone who loves Black folk, as he calls them, more than Dr. Claud Anderson. He has spent a lifetime educating and uplifting Black folk to our full potential. Black folk are his family, and Dr. Anderson works tirelessly for his family. I've witnessed this firsthand, as I am family. My name is Michael Bates, and Dr. Claud Anderson is my uncle. From Winston-Salem, North Carolina, to Detroit, Michigan, to Tallahassee, Florida, to Bethesda, Maryland, everywhere Dr. Anderson calls home, he plants the seeds of knowledge and inspiration to all that cross his path, everyone that crosses his path, and allows those individuals to pass the gift on to others that they receive from Dr. Anderson. I think the phrase, "Am I my brother's keeper?" was written specifically for Dr. Anderson. So on behalf of myself, the Anderson family, and all the generations of Anderson family members, we would like to say thank you for your guidance and your leadership, and that we love you, Pappy Jack. Keep fighting the good fight, Doctor.
Now, let me introduce you to some of Dr. Anderson's special friends. Tina Blanchard, family friend for more than 30 years. Mr. Eli White has handled video production and duplication for powernomics from the beginning. He is a family friend. Eli, through his company, U Star Production, produced this entire event. We need to give him a thank you for a job well done. Yes.
Hi, I'm Tina Blanchard, and I'm delighted to have been asked to share my thoughts of my beloved friend, Claude Anderson. My deceased husband, Fred, and I met Claude 20 years ago at a gathering at his home with his friends and business partners. Claude was the life of the party, and I was impressed with his philosophy of where Black people have not found it necessary to take charge of their life, either by educating themselves or using their status or even their wealth to change their lifestyle for themselves and for the less fortunate. His knowledge is amazing, and I can't understand why his lectures of his findings haven't been adopted by the powers that be. Well, the Black community could also use that information. Thousands in our community have had the opportunity of listing his readings and volumes of books regarding these issues. I hope the word and the theory he shared has been spread or practiced. Claude is my hero, and I will continue to recommend his books and personal interviews to people who are interested in change. I'm honored to have known and met Claude and his lovely wife, Joanne, and I wish him continued success in his quest to enlighten his Black brothers and sisters in America.
Okay, everybody else says they're your number one friend. I got to contest that. I've probably known you longer than any of them. I go back to 1994 with you. I remember the first time you called me. You asked me to make a product for you. And that was actually on VHS tape. Can you imagine that? Man, that was a long time ago. Then when DVDs came along, we went into that. We went into digital recordings. We started making websites together. I mean, it's like, Doc, what didn't we do together? I had Michelle. You fussed at me about Michelle. You had Joanne, and I always fuss at you about Joanne. So we got to be buddies, okay? Now, I got an offer for you. Anytime you're ready to come back down here, you just let me know. If I got to come and get you in the car, I'll come and get you. You come on back down here and let's do something else. Because nobody rocks the Black man in this country like you do. You see right through all of the fantasies that are around us. You give us the words, the material to see through that and to have our own culture and our own desires come true. I thank you for that, Doc. Ain't nobody in this world that cares about Black people like you do.
One very important person in Dr. Anderson's life was unable to join us, but must be recognized. Dr. Donald Times of Benton Harbor, Michigan. He's not able to join us, but he and his colleagues are in a category by themselves. They show the best of Black people, demonstrate powernomic principles and the way that they live their lives. Dr. Don Times, Dr. Moncrief, and several other associated Black doctors deserve a special mention. 20 years ago, Dr. Anderson gave lectures 2 consecutive years at Wayne State University Conference for Black doctors that were in medical school. Fast forward to a year or so ago, Dr. Anderson having some medical issues that had stumped his doctors in Maryland. 6 Black doctors, all who had been touched by Dr. Anderson's lectures at Wayne State and now in medical practice, observed concerning symptoms in his interview. These doctors collaborated among themselves to discuss medical system for Dr. Anderson. For Dr. Anderson and his wife were overcome with the generosity of that offer, which came at a time when they really did not know where to turn. Their knowledge and medical experience put him on the path to recovery. These doctors, especially Dr. Times, have remained in his corner and continue to consult with him. Their knowledge and support has improved Dr. Anderson's life. Want to acknowledge and salute this wonderful group led by Dr. Donna Times.
Hello, greetings to my immediate family and all my extended family, to all my supporters all around the world, but especially those who participated in the filming of the appreciation video. And I want all of you to remember, I'm your only friend. And I do appreciate y'all participating in this video, because you see this video did a lot for me, because I've been out in the rain so long in the storm and fighting for Black folk. I began to think that maybe I'm alone and then fighting, trying to get up a backside of a mountain, and with very little support from the establishment or the society in general. Because see, I noticed from history that nobody in our society wants you to focus on trying to help Black folk, because Black folk are viewed as being a pariah. At least that's what 2 or 3 companies told me. He said, Dr. Anderson, you have to understand, nobody's going to help you do very much for Black folk. Because you see, all the groups that should be appreciative of what Black folk have done in this country, and should be appreciative of the fact that Blacks were the original people on the earth, and that Black folk are not African Americans, they are native Black Americans, because all of them are the direct descendants of slaves, and they came into this country as a direct result of slavery. They were stripped of any Africanness on the boats, and once they got in this country, they went through a seasoning process. But I'm here right now to tell all my friends that remember me, I'm your only friend. But to be honest with you, without joking now, I want to express my profound gratitude to all the people that participated in that taping. And I love you. So, I mean, from the bottom of my heart and soul, I love you. And because you now told me that I've not been striving in vain for 60 years, trying to figure out how to help Black folk and tell Black folk that they are special people. Not only because you're the original people on the earth, and because Blackness is the strongest color on the earth, even in the universe, the black clouds out there, and the black hole, it says that we are the most special people. And on the earth, the black color in the color spectrum says Blackness is the most powerful color. It is the strongest color. It's the only color that you can get other colors out of. You can't get any colors out of whiteness, and that basically that we as Black people need to be respectful of our color and our condition, which can be changed. And I've tried my best to do it all these years. And I appreciate the fact that you all did that video saying that and express your love for me and acknowledge that we are still together, even though I have a difficult time seeing most of you now. Between the pandemic and old age, I don't get around that much anymore. But I do love each and every one of you all, and I miss you. And I'm thankful for all the things y'all have tried to do for me personally over the years. Because you see, right now, I know that I missed a lot of boats on a lot of things. When people, for instance, down in Texas said, Dr. Anderson, if you take that focus off of Black folk, we'll give you everything you wanted. And I heard people in Florida say the same thing, invite me up to their office. Some of the richest people said, take the focus off of Black folk and talk about everybody. Use very broad and ambiguous terms like minority, poor folk, people of color, those the helpless, the hopeless, the poor, and the downtrodden, anything except we're using the word Black. But I enjoy Black folk, and I love Black folk, and I'm going to love them to the day I die. And I thank you all for giving me the strength to continue to do what I'm doing. And you convinced me that my work all these years was not in vain. And I got something that it was a surprise to me. It was a big surprise to me, but it's exactly what I wanted. And see, now I have a chance to be able to put this on a video or put this video onto the computer anytime, sit in front of my fireplace and say, there are some people I love. And I'm going to look at each and every one of you and I'm going to talk to you from this day forward. And I said, they told me that I was not on the wrong track and that I had people out there who still loved and cared for me. And I love them in return. And I got most of them now, and we're gonna do some things still, even though I'm not as active as I used to be, because I may have lost some of my health, lost my hair, and maybe lost some of my looks, and lost my opportunity to be a rich man because I didn't play with basketballs, football, baseball, tennis ball, golf ball, sing and dance and tell jokes. I may have lost everything, but I don't believe I did, because I got some of the best things in the world. That is some of the closest friends, wonderful people who I love dearly, and I'm going to still make it to the top. And I thank you and love you, and you'll be getting a copy of this. But always remember, once you get it, that Claude Anderson's going to be playing it on a regular basis, and I'll always be your best and only friend. I love you. Have a good evening, day, morning, and night. Take care. Bye-bye now.
Again, we thank you. This has been an awesome event. Dr. Anderson, may you have many more birthdays, and may the thoughts that were spoken here tonight remain in your conscience forever. We love you. You know that. And you know what, Dr. Anderson? I'm your only friend, Dr. Rosie. Thank you for allowing me to do what I'm doing tonight. And I close out by saying, you know what, Doc? I'm tickled black.